So hi, I'm Mani. We've got Vera here with us on the call as well. She's going to be hosting this session as well. We also have a couple of others. We've got Tanvi and Jerry who work on marketing and program for us. So just to make sure we're starting off on the right note, we're happy to have you all here. We would love for you all to follow us on Facebook so that it's easy to get the message out. Jerry has just put that link in. Please click on it, follow us. We will make sure that we're putting all our messages and updates there as well. But let me start off quickly with what is Launch. And I'm just going to quickly play this video and we're going to go on from there.
Launch was essential to the success we've had and where we are today, because really it helped us sit down and focus on the fundamentals of our business.
The launch model doesn't take equity, which is unique when it comes to accelerators. One of the most meaningful pieces of what Launch provided us was an introduction to a technical lead. We were gearing up to raise our first round of capital, and that was a really critical hire. The other piece was really getting crisp around our story. Story is everything. That all started with going through Launch.
Medina's Health is a marketplace for pre-owned medical equipment and technology-driven asset management and remarketing software for hospitals. Doing a healthcare startup is like doing startup on hard mode. Your users are hard to get to, the industry is incredibly fragmented, it's very, very behind on technology. Launch is an equity-free program where their metric of success is a good business. We were surrounded by people who were all there for the love of the company and the problems that they were solving.
Our mission is to provide effortless access to fresh food. We offer a platform for any retailer to use our unattended storefronts to sell their product to consumers. Since launch, we've raised a total of $14 million. Shortly after launch, we raised a $5 million seed round.
After launch, we were accepted into the Combinator Spring 18 batch, which gave us $120,000 in funding, and subsequently raised an additional $2.5 million in a super oversubscribed round.
The advice that I would give with regards to applying to launch is to do it, plain and simple. The people that you will surround yourself with, the network that you'll build, the investors that you'll have access to, and just the rigor of going through a program to formalize your pitch, I would wholeheartedly recommend it.
For me to be able to work on a startup that is a growing, high revenue business that also does good in the world is a dream come true. Launch was a perfect program that's designed for founders to be successful on your own terms.
And I'm just gonna quickly tell you a little bit about what Launch is. First and foremost, we're a founder-first accelerator. We try to ensure that we're supporting the UC ecosystem. So we only admit startups who have a founder or a team member who is from anywhere within the UC ecosystem, and that could be a current student, an alum, a student who's about to join, and even faculty. So that's kind of what we are. That's who we usually admit. In terms of what we have to offer, what we do is we have a program which follows the principles of lean methodology. We guide startups through several weeks of rigorous webinars. We even give you guys homework. So if you guys don't like homework, oops. But we give you guys homework. We put you on a path which very clearly gives you certain goals.
We are really founder focused, which means we don't take any equity. All we here is providing you the relevant resources and help you go through a curriculum that help you take your idea, take your business to the next level. And through us, you can also access a big community of many years of cumulative experience to get guidance from entrepreneurs and investors to help you move on to the next stage of your startup journey. We actually started as a business plan competition about 20 years ago. And since then, we have rebranded ourselves to be an accelerator model, which means we truly provide curriculum, provide all the guidance needed to help all the startup success instead of just doing a competition style. Our program is based on Steve Blank's Lean Launchpad method. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with that. We'll talk about a little bit more later, but basically it's a program that focuses on doing iterative approach and then start with hypothesis and using facts, using your data from experiment to validate your idea and then move on to the next stage. So since we rebranded, we have the startups within the cohort in the past 4 years have raised about 128 million total and in different rounds. And our startups also had a very high success of getting one of the better, more competitive accelerators out there, such as like a Y Combinator or Alchemist. This spring, we are in our cohort this spring, we had on the demo day, we actually had over 100 investors and VCs came and witnessed our demo. So despite of all the COVID situation, so it was really successful, I'll say, in the past cohort. And then we plan to continue that projectile for the new cohort as well. Here is just a couple highlights of a couple of the more successful companies. TubeMogul is one, probably the most successful one in our cohort in the past couple of years. They got acquired by Adobe for over 500 million. Our more recent startups include the Medinas and then Silk Insights. Medinas was from 2 years ago, and then they recently closed the 5 million seed fund in last fall. Silk Insight is literally just went through the program in the spring, and they got a lot of visibility. A lot of investors got very interested in them, and then they are now in Techstars LA. Okay, so we talked about the program a little bit, and then here is what we're actually doing. Like I mentioned earlier, we follow the Lean Launchpad method. So it's iterative. Every team go into the program, have an idea or have like a minimal viable product, but not necessarily really know where that product is going, where the customer would like or not. So our job is we put you through the curriculum, and then you go in the cohort and work with others to really fine tuning your MVP and then take you to get to your next customer. So it's iterative. You're required to do a lot of interviews and validating a lot of hypotheses. And by the time you come out, you should have a very fleshed out product, and then may have your like the first couple customer already, so you are ready to engage conversations with VCs, with other accelerators. I think like I mentioned earlier, there are 3 things we offer through the program. So first one is community, because we've been doing this for many years, and we have a lot of members within our community who have had a successful startup or who have helped a startup succeed. So this is a great community to be in and be part of it and help each other out. We also provide very rigorous curriculum. The reason that our program is taking from September all the way to January is because you will be going through bi-weekly webinars where you are required to do your homework and continue building on your startup. And so that's why it's taking long, but it's very, I would say it's very meaningful, and you will learn a lot through the process. The last thing is the connections you can build. One thing I want to emphasize is we do demo days at the end of the cohort, and we bring a lot of VCs and investors. Used to be just from the Bay Area because we are here, but now because we're moving this thing online, so we are able to attract more investors even from other regions who are not located here. So we're very excited to continue expanding and inviting more VCs and bringing more opportunities for the startups in our cohort this year. Here's just like some highlights of some partnership we had. Within our partnership, we do have like law firms who can provide law related guidance. We have a lot of long-term partners who are investors. And last year we had judges and then experts from Y Combinator, from multiple VC firms who can and provide a lot of helpful tips regarding building up pitches or discussing funding relevant funding issues. Yeah. So here is our tentative timeline. If you're interested, the application is now open on our website. It's pretty straightforward. If you know your stuff, few hours you'll be able to fill the application. The deadline is August 31st. We will announce. So after that, we will screen your application. We may interview you if we have any questions. And then by end of September, we will announce who will be enrolled, who will be selected for the cohort. And then from there to, we kick off in the early October through a bootcamp 1. So it's really of like introduction of what we're doing. And then from early October to end of November, we will have webinars that each of them focus on specific topics. For example, it could be topics on how to get funding and how to build your pitch, or something else which we know that startups really need at this stage. And at end of the year, early December, we'll have bootcamp 2. This is more like semi-final. All the companies will be able to pitch and then to a panel of judges, and then the top ones will advance to the demo day, which is early January next year, to demo for the full audience of investors. So all of the events this year, due to the COVID situation, will be virtual. Okay, so who are we looking for? So we're looking for startups who have very strong concept and a very strong team, who delivers or who knows a pain point that's really big for the customers, and then they are addressing that needs through their concept or through their product. Ideally, we would like you to have a working prototype or MVP. But it's not like 100% requirement, but we want to see we want evidence or proof that your concept has some kind of maturity in it. A few smaller requirements must have. Launch is affiliated with University of California, so we do require at least one member of your team is affiliated with the school. So it could be a student, alum, or staff or faculty. And it could be not just Berkeley, but all other UC campus as well. And if you are in, you also must be okay with the Lean Launchpad curriculum approach, and because that's what we're teaching people to do. And lastly, you must have the enthusiasm and then that believe that you are driving to take your startup to the next level.
I just want to call out one thing here. We do insist, and this is an absolute requirement for the program, that every team has representation in every single session that we hold. That is a requirement, and we do ask people to leave the program if they don't stay through it. The reason I'm calling this out is because we have in the past seen that some teams might join to get the stamp and then not take the program seriously. However, we do focus heavily on community, and each cohort works. Everyone within a cohort interacts with each other, helps each other out with their startups as well. And so one person not contributing to the community takes the experience away from everyone else. So we insist that everyone know that this is a time commitment and that they are required to be part of the entire program till the end.
Thanks for the clarification. Because we're all student rounds, we actually raise our own fundings. depending on how much we could raise, but likely we're gonna try give out an up to 25K for the first place in the cohort. Okay, that's the end of the presentation.